y'all. Today we're going to do something a little different. I'm stepping out of the shop, stepping into the kitchen, and I'm going to show you the world's best biscuit and gravy casserole for Christmas morning. Got all my ingredients laid out on the counter here. We're going to jump into that and get started in just a few minutes. But I just want to tell you, biscuit and gravy casserole to me is one of the best things that you as a husband can do for your family on Christmas morning. My boys love it, my wife loves it. It's super easy, especially for my wife because she doesn't have to cook it and she does the majority of the cooking throughout the year. So it's something little that I can do for her and for the rest of the family on Christmas morning. Everyone can get up, we can enjoy presents, and then we've got a great breakfast that we can eat. Now, before we get started with cooking, I know that for a lot of you guys out there, including myself a long time ago, the thought of cooking absolutely overwhelmed me. I didn't want to get into the kitchen and cook, ruin something, mess up dinner, lunch, whatever, until I finally got in here and started doing it and realized just how easy it was. So to make things super easy for you, I've got all the ingredients laid out here on the table. I'm going to walk you through each one of the things that we have and make it even easier. So to start, I don't like a lot of cleanup on Christmas morning. So I've got an aluminum pan here. It's a 12 3/4 by 10 3/8 by 2.5 inch deep. That'll give us plenty of room for all of our biscuits and gravy. Over here to the side, I've got my cutting board with my butter and my knife for cutting my biscuits. And then back to this corner, we have our black pepper, my Himalayan sea salt, like a possum on the side of the road, him just a laying. My self-rising flour, couple of measuring cups, sausage, one hot, one mild. That way we get a little bit for everybody. A little bit of hot for me, a little bit of mild for everyone else. Mix it up, get kind of a medium blend. And then 1 can of jumbo flaky biscuits. And last but not least, for our gravy, we've got a thing of organic whole milk. So this is all that you need for biscuit and gravy casserole other than a stove and a hot pan. We're going to move over here to our stove. We've got our pan set up. I put it on medium heat. It's about 6.5 on our stove. It's an electric stove. Gas stoves, you're going to want to run, somewhere in the medium range with your heat. But pretty simple. So now we're ready to get started. We'll start with our sausage and get it going. Let's move our sausage over into the pan and get cooking. So while we're waiting on our pan to heat up, we're also going to go ahead and preheat the oven. That way we don't have to do that earlier. Bake 350 degrees. So the biscuits call for 375 degrees at 14 minutes or something like that. What I've found is if you cook the biscuits at 375 degrees in the biscuit and gravy, you get a really nice brown top on your biscuit, but the biscuit doesn't cook all the way through. So what I like to do is preheat the oven to 350 degrees, 25 degrees lower, and bake my biscuit and gravy casserole at 350 degrees, and I get a much better cooked biscuit where everything is nice and crispy all the way through. You get all the layers with the biscuit that really brings that flavor out at the end. We're going to start with a mild sausage for those sensitive souls out there. Those that have the sensitive palates. I'm not one of those. I like my sausage hot. All right, there's our sausage in the pan. So a lot of you are asking, well, how long do I cook my sausage? It's pretty easy. It's all pink right now. We're going to cook the sausage until it's brown. That's simple. I like to crush all my sausage up. And I'll do this a few more times as it cooks because I want my sausage to be fine for the gravy and not really chunky. All right, now we're going to let our sausage cook up for a little bit. We'll come over here and chop it up some more as it goes. We're going to go ahead and prep our biscuits next. So now we've got our can of jumbo flaky biscuits. I really love the jumbo flaky buttered biscuits. I think that's one of the better biscuits that you can use, especially for canned biscuits, for making the biscuit and gravy casserole. We're going to get these guys opened up. Give it a little smack on your hand. Let's go ahead and get all of these out, set them on the cutting board. And now we're going to quarter all of our biscuits. Lay them out individually. Something to be aware of, keep your fingers away from the end of the knife as you're cutting these. As your hands get oily, your finger can slip off the end of the knife. Tip of the knife will cut you. Stay back toward the back on the spine of the blade. 1, 2. Now you can see we've got these really nice little quartered up pieces of our biscuit here. Those are going to go on top of our casserole once the biscuit and gravy finishes cooking. Nice thing about doing all of this early while your sausage is cooking is you're not rushed trying to get everything into the pan once your gravy is done. We'll have to be a little more attentive with the gravy than we do with the sausage. So we'll get these little guys cut up first, and that way all of this is done ahead of time. All right, there's all of our biscuits cut. Biscuits are ready to go. Look at that. That is going to be some golden goodness right there. It's slowly cooking. Give her a little stir, chop it up a little finer. You'll thank me later with the fine sausage versus the coarse sausage once you make your gravy. It comes out so much better. All right, sausage is almost ready, so we're going to do our final chop here. Get everything stirred up the last little bit. All right, I'm very happy with that. We've got our butter. Now, for you guys that have never cooked before, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of butter. Your butter is marked with tablespoons on it. So we're going to cut 2 of these sections out and throw that in our pan. Now it's time to switch out to our spatula. So we're going to get our butter down in here and get the butter to melting. Now, one thing that I don't do, I don't drain or strain my sausage. You can see there's a little bit of fat down in here in the bottom. We're going to leave that fat to cook with our gravy. It's going to help to make our roux a lot thicker. It's going to help to make our roux a lot better. And our roux is what we get once we add the flour in with the butter and the sausage and then a little bit of sausage fat in the bottom. It's going to make a really thick, pasty roux that once we add our milk to it, it's going to be incredible. Just watch and see. Next, we're going to add our self-rising flour. In here, we've got 1/3 cup. So we're going to put 1/3 cup in. Kind of spread it around a little bit as you pour it in. Then I'm going to add about 1 more tablespoon of flour in. All right, milk time. Got my measuring cup here, my milk. We're going to put 5 cups of milk in. Now we just put 5 cups of cold milk into the pan. Now this is going to cool your pan off really quick. So we're going to put it on a little lower heat this time. We're going to put it on about 4, so it's a little below medium heat. We're going to give this a little stir and just kind of break all of the flour roux up with the sausage and get everything evenly dispersed. Now we're going to add 2 of my favorite things in the whole wide world, salt and pepper. Salt, we're going to do 1 teaspoon. And pepper, we're going to do 1 tablespoon, maybe a heaping tablespoon. Gosh. Oh my gosh, guys, that is some goodness right there. Now you can season it to your taste. If your family doesn't like a whole lot of pepper or a whole lot of salt, you can cut that and only do, a teaspoon of pepper or no salt or whatever. But I love pepper gravy. To me, I don't think there's anything better in the world than pepper gravy in the kitchen. And you can see what that looks like once you get that pepper mixed in with the gravy. That's some good stuff right there. Now, one of the big things you want to do with your gravy is you want to keep it moving. Don't let the gravy just sit here in the pan, or you can scorch the gravy on the bottom. And burnt milk gravy on the bottom of the pan does not taste good. So just keep it moving with your spatula until the gravy starts to thicken up. Once the heat comes up and it gets close to boiling, that's when it'll thicken, and it will go from, you're going to be sitting here looking at it, you're like, it's just milk in a pan. It's not going to do anything. It will literally go from this to thick, just like that. So one thing that you can do if it's going to take you probably an hour to make this from beginning to end, one thing that you can do to kind of break the process up, you can make your sausage the night before. And then when you get ready to actually make your complete recipe, you can pull the sausage and all the drippings and everything back out, put that back in the pan, warm the sausage up, and then add your butter and flour in. That way you can mix it up over a little bit of time instead of trying to do it all at once. So here you can see the gravy starting to boil and it's starting to thicken up. Once you get to the boiling point, the gravy thickens really quickly. This is where you want to make sure that you're stirring pretty much non-stop so your gravy doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan and scorch the gravy. You see how thick it's getting? Right now we're at about 10 minutes with the stove on 4, which is a little below medium heat. All right, we've got the stove turned off, coming in with our hot pot of gravy. We're going to pour that into our pan. Oh, that's some goodness. Look at that. No gravy left behind. Now on to the good part. It is biscuit laying time. I like to pack these little guys in as tightly as I can get them. When you start, you're going to be like, oh no, I'm not going to have enough biscuits to cover this. I'm going to have to open another can. You'll have enough, trust me. I made a bunch of these. And there's always one left over that you just have to squeeze in somewhere. Look at that. And now, into the oven. So we've got our oven preheated. We're going to go on the top rack at 350 degrees. And we're going to start at about 20 minutes. And now we wait. All right, so we ended up going about 23 minutes in the oven to get the biscuits like I wanted. And now we're ready. Let's pull this bad boy and see what it looks like. Oh my goodness. Oh. Look at that. That is Christmas heaven in a tin pan right there. Those perfectly golden biscuits, that sausage pepper gravy down below it, 2 pounds of sausage. Nobody's going to leave the table hungry after eating this one, I guarantee it. I hope y'all enjoyed this video today with me in the kitchen making the sausage and gravy biscuit casserole. I hope this brings a little bit of joy to your family, just like it does to mine every Christmas. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe below. See you next time.